Hello, folks out there. We are back at the Texas Coalition Against Data Centers, the Texas Connect, chat with TA, and you know what I like to do? Say a shout out to a bunch of people out there. This time, all the folks in Wichita Falls, Texas. So all the folks I know in Wichita Falls, Texas, we're still here, and we're here for you too. Today we got a guest. We have our regular co-host. I'm still TA.
I'm still Miriam.
And our guest.
Linda Polley, Save Hill County.
And that's what we're going to talk about today. Save Hill County and probably some, well, in McLennan County, I call it spies and lies. In Hill County, we don't have spies, but we do have farmer law enforcement. All right. Would you like to explain how you got here with us today, other than by vehicle?
Sure. So, beginning in November, we were invaded by construction teams, equipment on a Monday morning at around 5 o'clock. Sounded like an invasion of an army coming down FM 1946 between Bynum and Irene, Texas. Previously to that, we had been informed that this Hubbard Wind 2 project had been put on hold, basically, and probably wasn't coming. Well, unbeknownst to all of us, those of our neighbors that had signed did know it was coming, and there were numerous neighbors that were left in the dark. And so at that time, we started investigating to see basically what was going on, and it came to light that they were building what they call a lay-down yard that was basically, as a crow flies, about 4 miles from where we're living. And at that particular point in time, we then realized that there were going to be at least 108 turbines from right outside Malone, Texas, to over to Brandon, west of 171, between Bynum and Hillsboro. And so the project started, and that's when our life has changed, and it'll never be the same again. And at that particular point in time, we started looking into how this came about, and that's when a lot of us were made aware that it was a huge reinvestment zone that had been done previously of a huge amount of acres, and that was the beginning of the green energy invasion there in eastern Hill County and around the Abbott area.
Gotcha. For you folks that are out there, we've already been on location in Hill County at Hillsboro at the courthouse. So this is a little recap for some of you folks. So as we go on, we would still like to remind you, as we're recapping for any new viewers, we're still a nonprofit. And when I say nonprofit, Miriam, how much profit do we got?
-3 cents.
-3 cents. So, there was, I always say I like to read the comments. So, Bob and Steve and all those other people. And the new comment, Bob and Steve said we weren't real. So if you missed that video, that was the introduction. That's an exciting video. Go back and recap. The other thing is, in the new comments, we're getting paid to be here. Miriam, have you got a check yet?
No, you stole it.
I stole it. Well, I didn't steal her check, and if not, I wouldn't be here. I'd probably be out to eat. I can't afford all those fancy restaurants.
The CCP
like some
isn't
people.
Coming through.
Yeah,
We've been waiting.
So yeah, we're still not. What do you call it? We're still not agents of the communists or anything. How'd you put
Chinese
it?
Communist Party.
There you go. She says it much more eloquent than I do. So we just want to get all that out there, and we still don't script the show. So now that we got all those housekeeping tips out, so you had the windmills, and we're going to recap on that. How are those made, and by whom?
Well, it came to light that even though we have the DOD 1260H list and the Lone Star Infrastructure Act and the governor's do not do business list, that a vast majority of the parts on these wind turbines are made in China. And to top it off, we had little tags that blew off the equipment. It was as they were driving recklessly down FM 1946 that had been attached to some of these components. And when we looked up the companies, they were directly related to doing business in China. So,
I also think there's another country you mentioned before when we were on location. 1% of these are also made by what country is that one?
Russia. 99% China, 1% Russia.
So here's my thought on this one. After being at the National Resource Committee meeting and listening to Cody and a guy named Mike Lucia at the State
Armor.
Yes, with the State Armor, talk so fascinating about those things that you just mentioned should not be happening. I encourage every one of our viewers and listeners to forward this right on over to those guys. There is a complaint form in the State Armory that you can fill out and attach this little link to, and you can email Cody Harris, and I'm sure he'll be excited to help out with that because he says he's totally against it. We appreciate your help, Cody.
It's a matter of national security.
That's right.
When it suits their needs.
Oh, well, hopefully this suits their needs. If not, I would question that. All right. Now, after that happened, then you had the data center crisis that's going on in Texas and across the United States and worldwide.
Exactly. And that began in January at the Nexus Hubbard Data Center, and which was originally to be 2,000 acres. And then the report last week is that now it could be possibly up to 12,000 acres. It's going to bleed over now into Navarre County. People's lives have been disrupted. The ongoing light that is blaring in the sky and everywhere at night as they work 24 hours around the clock, the noise level, the trucks racing down the county roads, and they're also running people off the road. A lady reported yesterday about she saw them literally put a bus on side of the road as they're blaring by. So
that bus, was that a school bus?
It was a school bus. A school bus.
A school bus. Now, I question, where's the county officials regulating that? I'll be honest, even where's TxDOT at? And if you see something like that, I would definitely just go ahead and report that to DPS, the Texas Department of Highway.
We've also seen some road closures in that area of the county roads, unofficial, done by them laying down, what do you call that? It looks like an egg carton, and they stick it up across the road, and then they also put cones around the county road without having any sort of permission from the highway department or TxDOT or whatever entity is supposed to be regulating that. And I've driven around that, and I've seen it, and they are driving really recklessly down those roads that they claim to have ownership of.
And I would definitely say that if you're blocking a public thoroughfare and you don't have permits or the right documentation, that is illegal in the state of Texas.
And it needs to be reported.
And there was a Facebook post last night from a lady over there at Hubbard, and she was talking about all of this that's going on and how they're driving recklessly, and they ran her off the road twice. And she was asking what could she do, and of course that is what they said: call the sheriff's department, call DPS, and see who you can get out there to investigate that. And a comment was, unfortunately, good luck with that. We've been trying. So don't exactly know what that means, but maybe it means that no one's been showing up. So,
well,
hopefully,
we're not ready for people to start sending us complaints that they've made.
And I'll be honest, I've got the same complaints that started in Sulphur Springs earlier this year about them blocking places that were illegal. And up there in that particular area, lieutenants and so forth is that higher up than just the regular officers on patrol were contacted and went out there and found big tech blocking roads, and then they did have to remove stuff and go through the proper channels. So maybe you got to go up higher up the food chain when you report that. If the dispatcher or whatever you call and you don't get a response, then call back and re-report it to the dispatcher and say, hey, I need a supervisor of some sorts to come out here.
As one lady stated, if the DPS would just set on 171, they could make their quota in one day with the gravel trucks that are speeding recklessly down 171.
Now that is a term used by the public. We don't have quotas. I say we, cops don't have quotas. There's a whole entire class for that where we don't talk about, and there's court cases. There's no quotas.
Thank you for that PR spin,
Thank
TA.
you.
Well,
Thank you.
I mean,
Looking
law
out for his
enforcement is
friends.
very important out there. So it's very important to me. I don't have on my DOD law enforcement first responder thing, but I'm there for you guys. No
Well-
quotas.
Well, they could do their job
They-
if they sat on that road.
If they set on the job, then we might be able to help the Texas Income and other areas
Here we go.
expedite money through the JP court. How about that?
We'll take that
Yes.
explanation.
Take
We're
that.
fine with
Hey,
that.
we gave you a tip right there. There you go. Again, this is not scripted.
Not scripted. If you can't tell.
All right. So we got
Okay.
the data center government.
So each time we've been going through these different cities or counties, we've given it a title. For Hill County, after receiving a series of public information act requests, we decided that the most appropriate title was going to be Data Center Government Evasion. How they're hiding beneath special entities and districts to avoid your input.
Not hiding. No, say it's not so.
Oh,
That
no.
they are hiding. So there's a general timeline that we've
The-
been seeing across counties. This is how it kind of looks. They connect with a smaller government entity that wants control. They contract with attorneys who regularly work with the government, and then they begin negotiating a special purpose district. In the next phase, they begin sliding small elements of the project into the public agendas so that they go unnoticed. They claim that it is privileged information, and then they label those with dissenting opinions as radical or paranoid or troublemakers. And then they wait until resistance has been exhausted to push blatant agenda items, and they close the remaining deals with anyone left.
Now, when we say that, that's across the whole state of Texas is what we're seeing, and in other states as well.
Yeah, it's not something that's been very subtle, and I imagine that if you're in a different county, you might have a very similar story. If you do, we would like
Well,
to hear it.
Yeah, not
so
only
that we
would we
can-
like to hear it, but we might come out to your location, or you
Sure.
can come maybe to us. It depends on the situation. And I know there's some people that have reached out to us, and we haven't got back with them because of schedule conflicts. And I apologize, and we still know you're there, and we're still wanting to help you, and we're listening to you. It's just
They're not
one,
enough hours in
two,
a day.
1, 2.
And 3.
Yeah,
But she's,
yeah.
yeah.
She's got her own fight in her own county, so and we're 2, and I go outside the state of Texas, as we said in other videos, and beyond the pond into the other countries, and then up north too to Canada.
So in Hillsboro, this they partnered with their small government entity was the Economic Development Committee Corporation, whatever they call it, the EDC.
EDC.
That also, I'm going to throw it out there, seems to be what happened in Wichita Falls. We can talk about that later.
She mentioned reference back to my shirt.
Yeah. The attorneys they partnered with were ABHR. They also partnered with Haley and Olson on a couple things. And then they started negotiating a special purpose district through connections with the Orr family. That might sound familiar. We'll talk about them in a minute. All this was happening through the EDC. They had several NDAs and MOUs that they claimed. And there are some people like our lovely friend Linda here who has been labeled a troublemaker by the county. So they've been following this playbook pretty closely. And the last push was the Hillsboro zoning of data centers, and they put it on the agenda, and they asked for the word data centers to be specifically zoned in Hill County. Do we want to talk about that for a minute, or do we want to wait till we get to the...
Sure. I mean, we can talk about it now.
Okay, let's talk about that.
It was the planning and zoning, and they were meeting to discuss putting data center in the list of approved projects. And so at this time, data center is not listed as an approved project. And it says explicitly that anything that is not on the list is strictly prohibited. And so we all attended that meeting, and we expressed our concern about all of this. And we asked them, would they please consider tabling it until they investigate it further into the ramifications of a data center, the fact that it has holding ponds. What did that really mean for the area? What was really going to happen to that water in the holding ponds? And basically get some stringent guidelines. And why put data center? Why not put stringent guidelines into something with the heavy industrial that they already have? And therefore, then you could control the situation. But once you enter data center into the list of acceptable projects, then it opens the door for data centers. There will be no locking the door. And fortunately enough, the Planning and Zoning Commission, they paid attention. And they did their due diligence, and they did table it to go back and look into this and investigate it and make sure that they are protecting the citizens of Hillsboro, because that data center will be right there on the edge, backs up right to Wallace Park, where all these children play softball and baseball and soccer and all other things. And it's something that needs to be considered, because number one, the extreme toxins that these things emit, the situation with the noise level, and just the general overall construction of this. I don't think anyone's thought about that, about the parents coming and going to these ball games, with their children, and what that's going to do to that whole area.
Well, I'll tell you this, in another county, I've even heard crazy words that they were going to try to put things underneath power lines. I heard that.
They wanted to build the power lines right above a soccer field.
Yeah, they want to put a soccer field and power lines would be up there.
Oh.
I mean, but that's what I heard. That's
imagine that.
But yeah, again,
the thing that made this one really weird was that when they presented this language for the zoning, they were like, we just want to make sure we get it in there, so we put some protections in place. And they said, we want to make sure that there is a 100-foot line, that the data center is the setback is 100 feet. That was their entire zoning ordinance that they wanted to enter into the Hillsboro economic plan, which is crazy.
I was extremely happy that the board had some discussion, and I was really impressed by the people that were on the board to say that they needed more actual real data about a data center.
And it wouldn't have happened except there were a lot of citizens there who came to weigh in and make sure that they knew there are a lot of other factors. They didn't want to put it in an industrial zone. They didn't want to say it was an industrial project. But
I would definitely say reach out to that board. They said they were supposed to get back and give them some data to the board, but I would definitely say that board may want to reach out to Austin County, and there's a decibel sound thing that has government code in it, state code in it, and we mentioned different kinds of things about people and so forth as that and the kids and stuff. Well, let's think about the animals and Aunt Bessie that has the little chihuahua and the fire alarm goes off. I mean, that dog goes crazy. If you've ever been in any place that has a fire alarm or a fire truck that goes by and they have a little dog or a big dog. I mean, can't you imagine a big giant German Shepherd? Imagine all these dogs and animals and bats and all kinds of other wildlife causing problems with that sound emission. So we also got to think about the sound that we hear, and the sound that goes unheard, and it's even higher pitches and sounds for those animals. So that gets into the whole wildlife thing, and we have a video about that too with some a professor and another lady that had a degree and does horse rescue. So be sure to watch that one too.
Their next meeting is August the 24th at 6 o'clock at the historic City Hall. Everyone needs to be there.
Everyone. even if you can come across the pond, come on over.
If they're moving projects into other counties, like you said, Navarro County,
Needs
then
to
we
be
need
there.
to be mindful of that and attending these meetings that are impacting the people around them, even if they don't want to acknowledge that.
Now, if you're in Navarro County, and we got the lovely, well, you were the guest speaker, and then I got to sneak over to Navarro
Absolutely.
County at a special meeting that was over there. So any of those folks that were there in Navarro County at the Cowboy Church, come on over to Hill County because it impacts you too.
Yep. So you already explained this, but the first projects that came into the county were solar, and then they had wind farms.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if everyone kind of understands this is the middle of agriculture. Stuff that's been agriculture for the last 30 years, 100 years. You can literally watch the timeline of this happening and see that this land has been purposed for a very long time. And then we get to a point where all of a sudden it's solar fields. So what are we looking at?
2,500 acres of solar fields that basically took over prime farmland and prime pasture land. And not only that, when this particular Ash Creek project came about, there was someone that actually took the time to do a 240 slide show to be able to present to the people in Penelope, to the Penelope ISD school district, and also to try to make a point to the Hill County Commissioners Court about the detrimental effects that these solar panels were going to have on the area, the closely related watersheds that this was going to affect, the forever chemicals that these solar panels have that go into the ground and then into our water supply. And basically, he was ignored, just totally, absolutely ignored. And the project went on through because, as the citizens of Hill County have been told over and over, there's nothing that the Commissioners Court could do, and that the abatements were the only way that they could have any type of control over the situation. Where I think now, looking back on everything, everyone's coming to the realization, and that's why there's such an upheaval in the county, that we were misled, and there were things that could have been done differently. And the huge reinvestment zones, the whole county's almost a reinvestment zone. Why did we have to do that? And who knows what else is coming yet? And now we have the battery energy storage systems that are located within these solar farms, and they all have the cattle, which is the battery energy storage component from China. Mm-hmm. And no one really still has acknowledged what could be the detrimental effects of these units being attached to our power grid. And could they flip the switch and just turn everything off? I don't think anyone knows. ERCOT's already admitted they don't know.
Senator Colcourse actually brought that up a few months ago, and she asked if we have all these parts that are coming in from China, if we're setting up all these green energy projects that are linked back to China, how are we going to be confident that they didn't build something within it that allows them to have outside control? She was the one who passed that Senate bill about no longer allowing them to buy up these lands, but we're putting them across all of these counties.
Exactly.
So it's, yeah.
And Seeley with ERCOT, he admitted there was no boots on the ground.
Right.
They're basically on their own recognizance to say, oh, well, we're not doing it. And as she said, oh, so you expect them to tell on themselves? Which I think was a very valid point.
Right.
And so
his favorite thing, self-reporting data.
Yes, Mrs. Gonzalez in El Paso asked him.
and then not to mention with the battery energy storage systems, our local volunteer fire departments, no one's equipped to fight one of these fires. Matter of fact,
Right.
you can't fight the fires; they just have to burn themselves out.
And we just had Senate's committee meeting, and we just had testimony from one of our friends.
Gary Oldham with Protect Round Rock. He was a fire chief before, and we're looking at these projects again. It's like the lithium, the other chemicals involved, and specifically the battery energy storage systems. They are they're industrial. They normally are in places where it's concrete for miles. They were built for conditions that are not what they're being used for now, and they're not going to be able to be put out. Everyone talks about, we'll run out of water. It's like, you don't put those fires out with water. You have to fight them with chemicals. And when the chemicals are released, they're breathing the chemicals. And
in some cases, they just have to burn out.
And
literally.
it's a lot easier to do that on concrete than it is in a field of hay or what they're building out here in the Hill County area.
And
most important, next to houses.
Yeah.
True, and the toxins with the plume of smoke can go up to 30 miles, and that's if the wind's not blowing.
I mean, when we talk about environmental and we talk about crime, that definitely seems like to me a risk management issue is not being addressed by anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what it's known to do to the respiratory system and the lungs of not only wildlife but then your cattle that's maybe down the road, which almost everyone the neighbors have the cattle outside or their horses and not to mention the people.
Yeah, you can't really see it in that overview video from Google Maps, but if you drive around that area, you got these solar fields right next to actual ranchers and cattle and all this stuff. And again, every single field has its own battery energy storage system because the solar panels have to send the energy somewhere, and so it's being stored or it's being put into those what do you call it?
The battery.
There's a battery energy storage, and then they built up these things around it, the substations.
Substations.
And the substations relay it to the rest of the grid, but the battery energy storage is for the excess power, which we don't seem to have a lot of from these solar panels, but it's there.
Yeah, again, these things are not scripted, so I'm going to deviate a minute. I was thinking about something else while she was talking about that. A second, I had the unusual look on my face. As we're talking about, we've talked about cities, and we've talked about counties a lot, and we talked about state government. I like to talk about the Heart of Texas Council of Government, which is HOTCOG. I mean, we have a council of criminal justice, we got environmental groups, we got aging and disability, and we got everything else. I would think that since how that's Falls, Limestone, Hill, McLennan, and Bosque counties, I would think that those council of governments should be really talking about those topics right now because those are ones where all the grants from the state goes through for these projects, and that's how all the fire departments and other people get their funding, is writing those grants, those 421 block grants. And the reason I know that is before I said I worked with local, state, and federal government, and I wrote some of those grants. So all of a sudden it just clicked on me as we were talking about these things crossing county lines. I would say some of y'all need to really contact your Heart of Texas Council of Government or whatever COG, Council of Governments you have in your area and start talking to them and see exactly how they weigh in on the solar farms, the windmills, and the data centers, because no matter whether you're talking about the 765 lines or these or whatever, it is all connected.
And that's the next part we have here
It is
the
still
question
big
about how is it connected. And I know a lot of folks, because they were labeled green energy, we're thinking that it's clean, that it's not going to be setting off chemical fires. We're thinking that it's somehow better than our gas generators, and maybe it is temporarily, but in the case of accidents, it's like we've started over. And if you're wondering, how does it all connect to data centers? Well, all of us have heard Greg Abbott say they have to bring their own power. Well, what power do they have? And some of them, they do gas generation plants, and others have been buying up solar fields or wind farms, and they are passing that off as saying that they have enough energy to power their data centers.
Correct.
And out of state, they literally just bought Entire electric companies,
Yep, Lake Tahoe. They bought the entire co-op,
which
and
I don't know. That's in Lake Tahoe, and they bought an entire electric company,
and
and then the town now may not have electricity, but there's a city in the state of Texas that has a river walk that somehow is being told that they need to disband their electric company over there that the city manages, is the way I understand it.
I have a personal beef with that one because that's my hometown,
Okay.
San Antonio, and 30% of San Antonio's income comes from owning the energy for the entire city. And Abbott is now telling them that they need to dissolve that and allow private entities. And I'm a conservative and I believe in private ownership and all of that stuff. It's 30% of the city's income, though. Where are we making that up? And if you just dissolve it and you put new power in, there's no incentive for them to lower it because the baseline's been established. They're saying that's going to make their power bills lower. They're just going to go based on what they had already been paying, and it will only increase. They'll compete with each other, but it won't be lower for the citizens themselves. So that one I'm pretty upset about, and it's part of this whole mess. And again, what are we doing? Why are we breaking up all of these different energy projects across Texas? Something to think about.
Well, I don't know. I'm thinking this sounds like the one in Lake Tahoe. That Big Data bought it. Now they want to deregulate the one in San Antonio. And it sounds like Big Data would be the one supplying the electricity. That's what I'm going to say. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. And that's what the coffee shop talk is.
Yeah.
You will have nothing and be happy.
Well,
That's what this is.
It's rough, guys. It's like,
this is a tough topic. And we know it's a tough topic because... And there are city officials that did gleam that they do understand it's a tough topic.
they understand, they just don't really care.
But well, they were cherry picked, so you need to watch a video about that too.
Well, and
well, that person that said it was cherry picked.
as Linda
Clearly.
as Linda mentioned, all of this was kind of being overseen on the county level, and they claim that they did not have any control over it. And a lot of counties have been saying that, and a lot of commissioners and a lot of county judges
And we've been on the remote and seen that's not true.
but they all seem to have the same script, and we've been wondering, why did they get the same script? Well, the Texas Association of Counties has put together a presentation called Overview of Tax Abatement Agreements and Renewable Energy Projects and Data Centers.
Wow.
This presentation that's been put together by the Texas Association of Counties has been put on several times this year, and different commissioners across our state have been attending.
And guess who funds it?
Guess who went? Tell us, Marianne.
A lot of people went.
A lot of folks went. But the most important thing is Big Data put it on.
And two of the county commissioners for Hill County went. I'm spacing on their names if I'm being totally honest. But this is their presentation. It was very thorough. It was 7 pages. The first one's the title. Do's and don'ts. Do know who you're dealing with. What company? Just in case you're wondering what they mean by that. Know when to walk away. And get an attorney that deals with these issues. There are a couple attorneys who are covering this issue in every county.
Yes.
We'll get there, but just so you know, there are a few people who are really skilled at dealing with these issues. Don't let personal feelings get in the way. You mean like my 100-year-old family farm or anything like that? Don't let those feelings get in the way.
No, because you'll sell it for $100,000 an acre, or form your own company. Oh, we'll get to that too.
Don't give the county away, y'all.
Oh,
Well,
really?
Don't let them control the negotiations.
Is there a percentage of how much is it that you give the county away? Because a lot of these counties, pretty much they gave them the keys and said, come on in.
Well, I'm going to say the people who really missed the memo are the ones who gave them a 100% tax abatement in Montgomery County.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what their intentions were with that.
Well, what about the one for 35 years in Grimes County?
Yeah. I can't say that they got the message about don't give the county away. They.
Oh, well, wait a
they
minute,
may
wait a
not
minute.
have been.
To be fair, the county commissioners were at that meeting, but I can't say that those lawyers that are making the deals got that part of the message
Well, they're
back
supposed
for the county
Again,
commissioners.
I'm going to highlight point 3 of the do. Get an attorney that deals with these issues. Now, I don't know how many other people have told y'all, but I've heard it from several people. I didn't even know what a data center was until this year. And I've heard that from commissioners. I've heard it from state reps. I've heard it from local people.
Mm-hmm.
So the attorneys that deal with these issues are top notch. In case there was any question about what these renewable energy projects were, they clarified wind energy, solar energy, and renewable demand. They are not interested in helping give abatements for anything related to coal or gas. And we have to wonder what happened in Hill County.
What happened?
What happened?
What did happen? Can we piece it together?
We're going to try. So, we're going to throw out a bunch of names. We're going to let Linda look at it. We're going to let y'all look at it at home. And as each name comes up, if you have more to add to this story, we would love it if you dropped it in the comments. Because
everybody has a piece to this puzzle. Everybody from, and we've heard his name before, and BZ, you have pieces of the puzzle. Other people have pieces of the puzzle. I mean, we are better together putting the puzzle together, all of us together. And like we said before, it may cross county lines. So, I mean, there may be people we don't even know yet.
Yep. And so, as public information act requests have come forward, some of the earliest for Hill County, with the exception of renewable energy tax abatements that go back to 2021 or 2022, the earliest projects related to the data center seem to be September of 2024. The first people communicating on this issue that we have are Jessica Trew, who's the executive director of the Hillsboro Economic Development Corporation, and Arthur Mann with SBC Global. They are talking about how they have a contract with a data center company, and they want to look at it with the EDC board. Mike McDonald eventually enters the scene, and he is talking to people about his own thoughts. Mike McDonald, I believe, is an attorney
In Hillsboro.
Hillsboro,
Yes.
and he's also on the Economic Development Committee, right? Or
Correct.
corporation. And so he saw the contract before the EDC meeting, as they should. I genuinely don't understand why some of these people are pretending that they just saw a contract at the meeting. Hopefully you're reviewing your work before you get there. I don't understand that. But he had a couple of things that he thought weren't quite up to specs with the contract. And then we find that we also have a whole other group of people. This one came through on, we're out of order. This was August 7th, 2024.
Wow, 2024.
Yeah, sorry. So we're going back. I had September 2024. This is August 2024.
But we're still in 2024.
Yes. And this is the contract of sale for the Economic Development Committee. And it's an email between Jessica Trew, Megan Henderson, who is the city manager, Brian Glaser, who's a realtor for the data centers, and land that's being held by the EDC. Now, you're going to notice at the top of the... sorry, guys. You're going to notice at the top of this that it says contract for EDC lands adjacent to Y35 Holdings.
And who is Y35 Holdings?
Y35 Holdings.
I think we talked about it before in one of the other videos, but we're going to recap you.
Yeah.
It's Gwynn Orr.
Well, and who is
For
he?
all of our
Who is
friends
that?
who are not in Central Texas, Gwynn Orr is...
The father to Will Orr,
Okay.
whom is the husband to Angelia Orr.
And what is his role in, because we all know that I've said before, I'm not politics guy. I know the answer to this, even though I'm not politics. But for you folks out there, again, that aren't in Central Texas, what role does he play in politics in Hill County?
Will Orr.
Gwynn.
Well, Will Orr is the Republican.
Yes.
That's his son. So we have like these. It's basically a triangle of influence with the Orr family.
And so Gwynn is a longtime native of Hill County who has been extremely involved in politics in Hill County forever and ever. And then Will is the Republican. What is it?
I want to say chair for Hill Hill County.
Okay, we'll call it that.
It's like it's when you look at the Republican Party structure and the Democrat Party structure, there are some positions that are official and they vote on, and there's things that are related to it, and then there are things that happen within the county that are more club-like. Will seems to be somewhere in the middle of those two things. He's not
so kind of in between that
Well,
informal and a formal structure.
He was elected. I mean,
by some, but not by.
No, he was elected by the people.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I had the wrong title then, for sure.
So,
And Angelia Orr is a state house rep for this district. So she is a house rep for a huge portion of Central Texas. She actually overlaps in our county in McLennan.
Which also overlaps with other data center things that, and in some cases, with it being her district, she has never made an appearance.
Well, yeah, I mean,
and Bosky.
yeah, so Angelia Orr, her district is
13.
Yeah, she's District 13, and she goes from Boss County, Falls, Freestone, Hill, Leon, Limestone, and part of McLennan. The other part of McLennan is Pat Curry. So and when you look at how the district map is, it's interesting how connected it is to some of these projects.
I would say it was gerrymandered.
Well, I'm not going to say too much, but I'm going to say, look at it. You guys tell us what you think when you look at it. So this is her father-in-law.
I've had to draw districts before, and I don't understand it.
Well, and that's a rant for another time. But
I'm just saying.
But the recent redistricting for certain areas do not line up with the best interest of the party. They line up with the best interest of some of these properties more than.
And I would like to say that's on local and state level too, from what I've seen.
Yeah, I would. An example is Senate District 22 had been primarily agricultural for years, and this last session they shifted it to include part of Tarrant County. Part of that conveniently allowed certain people to run. The other part of that completely changed the voting weight of our agricultural communities. All of a sudden, this tiny little part of Tarrant County became very influential on who became the Senate 22 seat. And the same thing with Angelia Orr's. Hers is mostly agriculture, but there's a little piece of it that goes into to cities that change the entire dynamic.
True.
So when we look at Y35 Holdings and Gwynn Orr, this is a business in his name that is specifically for real estate and connecting real estate with the best economic outcome, essentially. He's a broker of sorts, which is
very interesting because most of that, as I looked it up and saw it and was presented up on a big screen for me, is the farm and ranchers all around the data center project, including his own property.
Correct.
Which I think word is, again, more coffee shop talk, holding out for $100,000 an acre.
Well, and you have to understand that the EDC in Hillsboro has this weird habit of buying land for themselves.
No, say that to me again. Wait a minute, I'm not catching that. Well, I didn't catch it, but I mean,
normal economic development committees help negotiate the best interest of the city, and they make deals easier, and they connect people, and it's like they don't touch money in this way.
Or the deal itself.
Or the deal itself. But we have, say, this contract, and I can't confirm that this happened already or not. I believe that this one was stalled, but this was written up and it was talked about, and it was a commercial real estate contract between Arnott Holdings, P.S. That's Natasha Sawyer, the EDC president, and she was selling her land to Provident, the data center company. Now, this is a crazy thing to be able to do. for a lot of reasons. But she's on the she's the president of the EDC. The EDC is negotiating all these contracts for Provident, and she's selling land directly to them. And then the EDC itself owns land that it is selling to them to make sure that they have just enough land to make this project happen.
Correct.
It's
insider information is the word I'm going to say.
That's just what I was going to say. Is that not insider trading?
Well,
So
I don't,
just asking.
I don't know. I don't know if we actually traded stock, maybe, but
Well, I mean,
but
it's
we
the-
do have people of influential situation that has inside information that sit on boards that would be a conflict of interest that I would think that it would violate a lot of perhaps civil and criminal issues here that need to be discussed.
I looked it up last night because I was like, let's think about it. It's improper influence, Texas Penal Code 36. It is potentially a misuse of official information because she has specific access to knowing what's happened. No one, again, Linda told us, the people of Hill County did not know about the data centers until January of 2026.
That's true.
But they're talking about it in August of 2024.
We were starting to get a lot of people, and she's over here talking the Texas Penal Code.
I'm just saying, it seems like a misuse of official information, which is in the Texas Penal Code 39. and potentially,
I would say, as a professor, I would say, as we're shifting into a more structured mode, I might actually say, what's the word that my friend says that I used to hang out with a lot? Organized crime, racketeering, or all those other kinds of evil words. I know we're not in the mafia game anymore, but we are starting to look like some elements of those things need to be discussed with some kind of investigators in Texas and beyond, maybe even.
Well, that's a good question because when we go back, what makes it organized crime? It's part of it's how many people, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a primary.
And the
so
time
let's
period.
talk about how many people.
Well,
Here we go.
More than 3, I can tell you that.
That's part of what makes it organized
Check.
Well, we got 4 here on this one email, and we don't even have Natasha yet. so we got 5.
But that's we're digressing into a whole nother pivotal story.
Yeah.
Let's try to stay on track for everybody. Again, not scripted.
Not scripted, y'all. So now we've gotten we're back to September. On and on. Sorry, guys. There were a lot of open records requests that came forward from Hill County that were not expected. And again, they have the title Contract with Provident. If you look up Provident Realty, they're a data center company. That is what they do. Mike, again, the attorney for Hill County, is communicating with Michael McDonald, who is the actual attorney for the EDC, correct?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well,
I actually do not know.
he is a lawyer, I can say that. And he is communicating with Charlie Olson with Haley and Olson down here in Waco. They go all over, but they're here to.
I would like to say I just saw one of those fellows just very recently, and it was in McLennan County in an ag district. And when I say one of those fellows, one of the people that works in that same law firm, his name is Michael or Mike Dixon. And I said before, hey, we probably need to see if that seems familiar. And guess why? He was the guy that turned down the ag district and thought he was like an expert in judge and jury in the matter and not just an attorney. I still don't understand if the county actually was paying him or he was there for big data, because that one in Grimes County I said about 35-year tax abatement, that was all Mike Dixon. Seems like to me he favors big data. But that's basically based on what he does and how it comes out in their favor. And I think he was walking around during the moratorium in Hill County.
Might have been.
Rumor has it. So when we look at this email, again, this is funny because we see another person say, the matter was discussed, I did not vote. And I can't say why he didn't vote, except that he did already look at the contract, and he thought there were a couple of issues. One of his issues that he found with this was that the buyer can assign this without the consent of the EDC, which we'll get to more contracts like that later, but that is a big issue, and they still went through with it. The board was aware of all of the above because we discussed it before the vote. The board's feeling is that since this is an EDC deal. It is okay to take an imperfect agreement if there is a good chance of getting the development we hope this will bring.
I want to say, we all discussed it before there was a vote. So there was an informal meeting somehow, or a rolling quorum, or something happened.
Or they had it at the meeting, and they, again, their final take was imperfect agreement. If there's a good chance of getting the development we hope this will bring.
I was just talking about the fact that maybe we violated a meeting's open act if they all discussed it beforehand.
Well, we don't know. But this is moving into February of 2025, Hillsboro, Provident meeting, Dallas, luncheon meeting.
Oh, no. Why did they go to Dallas for a luncheon meeting? We've seen this before. They always have to have a meeting before the meeting so that we can get all the script and all the roles picked out to make sure that when the dog and pony show starts. But why did we go to Dallas? Maybe Opal's was too full that day.
Or R&K in Hillsboro didn't have any vacancies. I don't know.
I like R&K. Well, shout out to the folks at R&K. That chicken fried steak is awesome.
Oh my gosh. Here's the funny thing about this email that we were given. That's all it says. Hillsboro Provident meeting, Dallas luncheon meeting. It was literally a a reminder that this was happening. It wasn't details of what was happening. So
for the folks that know me out there in TV land, I'm going to say this. I am never have gotten a written letter, email, or even a phone call or a smoke signal that was sent up to invite me to any of these meetings.
Oh, left out of the party.
I was not cherry picked.
So, as we said before, they like to contract with attorneys who regularly work with the government. In this case, I don't know if Provident brought them in or if it was the Hillsboro EDC. I don't think it was the Hillsboro EDC based on who they normally work with. But the firm ABHR was brought in to discuss a municipal management district. I believe that is.
Oh, no. Here we go again with another layer of government that the government in Austin said we're not supposed to be having. And we heard the same speech in McLennan County and all these other places. But every one of these we're seeing, all are creating these.
You mean you don't want more bureaucracy?
Well, that's what they tried to tell me. And I was trying to save everybody agriculture because Texas is the #1 producer for food, crops, and meats, and cotton. So if we don't have any food and we ain't got no cotton, and I don't know what we're going to wear. I don't want to wear a dashiki or a kimono, and I don't want to eat grub worms or all these chocolate-covered bees and grasshoppers, and I don't want Bill Gates' synthetic food from the lab. Sorry, Bill.
Well,
so I was trying to save the world all by myself with an ag district. And y'all apparently want to eat something else.
There was a lot of people who thought that we were going to save the world. It was a big effort. There were, how many landowners did we have that signed on to that ad district who all believed that that was the right thing that they wanted to do with their land?
I would like to say that we had more, hundred, at least more, that wanted to sign it. We just didn't have time, and we needed to present it to get it out there.
But there were over 50 that signed on to the original
75.
Yeah. So, I mean, there were a lot of people who are in the same position. And you know why they're concerned? Water.
Yes.
Exactly.
And this was an issue as early as March of 2025 for the Provident Data Center team. When they first approached Hillsboro and they were talking to them, they said, we really need to figure out the water options. And they were communicating this, not with the EDC, but with Megan Henderson.
Which is the city.
The city itself.
That's already having water problems.
So the firm ABHR and Provident Data Center suggested the easiest way for us to go about this is through the creation of a municipal management district. And this contract was drawn up by the city of Hillsboro, the Economic Development Corporation, and Provident Data Centers. ABHR, for reference, they are the people who you call if you want a municipal management district. I would encourage you guys to look at the Comptroller's Office Municipal Management District list and look at the attorneys who are listed for the creation of it. You're going to see a lot of ABHR. ABHR.
Well, don't forget when you go to the comptroller's office, look at some of those cool names for those tax abatements. Can you give me one?
Well, I will say that Santa is in charge of some of the tax abatements in Bell County.
Yeah.
His number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Santa.
Santa.
He can count.
Santa. And some of these are just at silly .com places. I mean,
Which is another felony, by the way, y'all. You can't submit these documents with fake information to the comptroller's office.
well, we call that false information to a government entity.
But we want
And
to
when
be-
you do a false information on a government document, it is a crime.
But they always say they want to be good neighbors.
They're all such good neighbors.
Well, I don't think Santa is our neighbor. He's not even close. I mean, because we track him with the radar
Well,
at Christmas.
You didn't know this, but he claims that he lives in Bell County.
Oh, wow.
Right down there with us in Temple.
Dang, I'll definitely go make a trip to Bell County. I was all excited about going to Santa Land down there by Navasota and all that this year. You know, the one down there past Bryan College Station.
Well,
He's not going to be there.
No, he's busy. He's creating multiple municipal districts and stuff like that. He's doing economic development work. If you've never heard of a municipal management district, this is in Local Government Code, Chapter 375, and it says in Local Government Code 375 that it is created to supplement, not supplant, the municipal services of the municipality. But that does not seem to be what's occurring in these contracts with Hillsboro.
And a lot of these are also using the word multi-layered district.
Yes.
Kind of interchangeable.
Yeah. So people, if you've heard people saying we're going to put it in its own district so that it's in charge of its own water, its own electricity, chances are they're talking about an MMD. There's a really good chance.
And especially if they use the phrase, we're going to keep all the money here.
We move forward now to July of 2025, and we bring in some players that we've heard of before and some new ones.
You said players.
On this meeting, where the Hillsboro Economic Development Committee is meeting about, you have to look at the title of this email, HEDC, meeting tomorrow, Municipal Management District Info. There's no question what they were talking about. And on this email, we have Natasha Sawyer, the EDC president, who tried to sell her land for $3.1 million. We have Tony Kane, the assistant city manager and chief of police. We have David Holmes, the county attorney.
I met him.
We have met him because he was part of the fiasco with the
Accepting.
Hill County moratorium,
Yeah.
and the lawsuit, and the resolution of that lawsuit at $100,000 for the county itself.
And officially not accepting the ag district the first time.
Well, yeah, but that's a whole other story. I don't even know if we've talked about that with people.
Well,
Sorry, Linda. There's too many. I'm sorry. There's so many emails. Do you have any extra notes on David Holmes before we?
No.
we'll pause and say that for another time.
Exactly.
We have Megan Henderson again, and we have Ignacio Vasquez, who works with Encore and was previously at the Heart of Texas Economic Development District Board of Directors. They're all going to be going to this HEDC meeting in July of 2025. They have, at this point, if this is in the right order, and I apologize if it's not, but at this point I believe they have the Provident slideshow, which shows them some land conveniently.
A little block of land.
Yeah, conveniently part of this land is already owned by the EDC at this point, so they're at least talking about their own land. And they're going to be doing a presentation. They apparently passed the MMD because in August they are looking for board members for this. They found someone named Scott. Sorry, Scott, but your thing came through a open records request, so we're not the only ones who have this. I don't think this is your actual place of address, but it's been going around, and you might want to tell the county not to give that away. And in August, they decided that they wanted to finalize this overlay district. ABHR, again, is the one who was mainly managing this, but we've brought Charlie Olson back in with Haley and Olson, Brian Glaser with the data center company, real estate part of it, and Megan Henderson with the city. In order to create a MMD, people have to own land within the MMD. That makes sense.
Much like the Ag District.
It makes sense that you would own part of the land if you're going to be deciding how the land is used. Oddly enough, though, the Hillsboro EDC decided to give 1/5 of a 5-acre property to 5 individuals who become the temporary board. And from what we have found, these individuals are not residents of Hill County.
Let's repeat that one more time.
Not residents of Hill County.
Dang.
And they, I believe if I'm reading this correctly, they got it for $10. 1 acre for $10. That's a good deal.
That's a heck of a deal.
That's a great deal.
And essentially some stake in the development of this MMD, which we don't know exactly what their intentions are for this MMD, except a data center.
I don't understand this. I mean, I'm never in the right place at the right time. I'm not getting to go eat, and I'm not getting $10 an acre on some of these things. What the deal?
What is the deal?
And wait a minute, that those acres that they got for $10, right?
They each had to pay $10, just so we're clear. It was $50 to the EDC. They didn't just make $10 on the whole acres. It was 50.
Okay, 50 total. But where are they located in retrospect to the data center project?
The acres?
Yeah.
Let me go back to that map. There's this lovely little ugly, no, sorry, oddly shaped
little piece there.
Piece along the highway, and you'll notice up at the top there's this jetting point, and I believe that is where those acres were.
I want to make sure I understand this for tax purposes. I paid $10 for 1 acre, right?
That's correct.
The average thing that everybody's saying, coffee shop talk again, is $100,000 an acre when Big Data buys it, at least. You can hold out for more.
Well, you know, it's funny you mention that.
So if they sell it...
It's funny you mention that, because the next part that we have is a commercial real estate contract between the EDC and Provident, where they sold the land at $100,000 as earnest. There was $100,000 for earnest money. They were selling a couple tracts of land that was about 200 acres, and they got $12 million for this. $12,750,000.
Wow.
So yeah, the data center is paying money for this land that the EDC oversees, and where this money went, we don't know. I don't.
But don't you think the bigger question is why you would sell the 5 acres for $10 an acre? I mean,
no, that's about control.
That's a whole nother story.
That's I would be. You do bring up a good point for the data center people. They could contest this and say, "Wait a minute." I think I got overcharged because I could have got this for $2,000 instead of what I paid based at this rate we're going.
Maybe that was another bad deal by Mike Dixon representing Charlie Olson's firm.
We have no idea. We have no idea, and this is what's confusing. Who represents who in all of these communications?
Or whom? Who or who?
I'm not going to get into the grammatical errors of this, but there are like 3 or 4 law firms that we've named so far, and that's all I'm saying. And they had to go over it a couple of times. It went back and forth. They had to make sure that the succeeding board members were appointed instead of elected, because we wouldn't want people in Hillsboro to be able to vote on who runs this.
No, we the people cannot be involved in this. It is beyond our comprehension.
That would be really problematic, according to Marlo. Marlo Gordon said,
"Who's that?"
She's with ABHR.
Oh,
and I'm guessing it's a she. I apologize if it's a man. But they they revised petition to allow for succeeding board members to be appointed instead of elected. So that was one of their big changes that they made and had to notify Jessica Trew, Denitza with Provident, Sylvia with ABHR, and Mustafa with ABHR.
Hey, that
Mustafa's a real person.
Not the one that's on the
No,
comptroller's thing that has one of the
No.
tax abatements.
No.
Oh.
Just for clarity, this municipal district was put together by the EDC and the city, and the county signed off on it, or it was processed through the county.
So the county knew for sure.
Pretty sure they had to sign off on it. It was processed in Hill County. And it's in explicit partnership with Provident, the data center. So we're not really questioning at this point the purpose of this district.
I would say based on that, if you're in any county, I'd run down there really fast and start asking how many municipal layered districts or multi-municipal districts you have in your county.
Yep. And maybe you'll get it back. maybe they'll respond. This is the plot of land that's attached to this creation. And they start bringing in people to talk about water in 2025 as well, about how it's going to get there. They have all these questions about the phasing and the structure. They've decided that they're going to have, they call it a detention pond on here. I don't think that was what it's supposed to say. But they also want a power plant right up against the highway, which will be fun.
Right there.
Yep.
And that's what Encore bought.
Isn't that convenient?
Yes, right there. So that's
and right
why.
between two floodplains, by the way, in case you can't tell what these little blue
and,
things are.
and if you can't see where they're actually pointing at this computer, because I'm looking at the picture up there, we're talking about the little red part.
The red part that says power plant.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to make sure everybody follows along.
Sorry, guys. It's the red part.
And
that
it's
says
in a
power plant.
floodplain. Let's say that one more time.
The blue
Yes.
wavy lines on the top
It is
and
in a
bottom.
floodplain that the National Resource Committee has a map for that I entered into that thanks to Mrs. Gonzalez in El Paso. Thank you. I appreciate it. And that
So
was
there is
nice.
some liability
So
on the state's
therefore,
part.
you need to build it with the specs that you now have available to you, or everybody's going to be responsible. It's such a shame.
And what goes into that pond? Those little holding ponds, or what? What was the term that they
They
used?
said detention ponds, which sounds a little dark for being real, but
Detention
is it
ponds.
is it the residual from the data center then that is held in the ponds? And then if that's residual from there, where's that residual going to go? Are they going to truck it out? Then when they truck it out, where are they going to take that residual?
Well, my thing is that the pond there that y'all see up there, I guess in blue, right?
well, it's
Okay.
there's
Okay.
two
But
little
the better
blue
question
circles.
is-
Well, wait a minute. It doesn't look like it's got a dome over it. I mean, what about the wildlife, the birds that
Well,
flying and the fish on their
well-
feet and all that other stuff and everything else is touching it?
And when a flood does come,
Yes. Where does that
where's that water
fluid
going,
go?
people? Where
Is
is
it
that
downhill?
water
I'll tell you that.
going? Into your water supply.
Down-
I will point out, we have seen these ponds on other projects before in the original rendering, and then they go away in the later renderings. It's almost as if they are put there to appease people, and then when you start asking these questions, they
Abracadabra.
abracadabra, they disappear. So, it's worth talking about, but it's also worth questioning, is it even going to be there when this
And the
project
people
goes
in
into play?
Hillsboro, you need to be questioning all of this.
Well, I
By
mean,
all
like
means.
some of the other cities, I just posted some stuff on the Texas Coalition page. Some of the other cities have already went against the projects unanimously. If you go on there and look, I posted one that said, let's chat. And in the comments, a unanimous city council said that they do not want a project in their area, period, because they say that they looked at it and all this stuff, by the time it's built, it won't even be needed. So now we messed up the entire ecology. We messed up farm and ranch. We messed up agriculture, not only for your county that we were trying to save, but for the state of Texas and beyond to other countries. Now, this just isn't smart business. This isn't smart anything.
Yeah.
This is just people trying to make money.
So, TA, whom is in charge of looking into the floodplain area before this data center is built to make sure that all the stipulations are in place for the elevation to be increased or whatever? Whom within the county or the city is in charge of that?
You can look it up in your county, and you will find a wastewater management type person in your county. Each one of us has one of those. And there's usually a designated person that does that. And they should be doing those inspections for these things before they're even built and being discussed. And then once you get even further, then you got all the, I mean, technically some of that stuff, and you've seen it on TV. There's law enforcement shows at the state level that are out there, and they got pretty upset about wastewater and waste management and stuff being dumped in creeks and sides of roads and everything else. But lately we've had a whole lot of people yelling, hey, we want to deregulate government all over the place, from FEMA and the EPA at the state level all the way down through some of the places here in Texas had to do their own deregulation. So some of the places that we normally be filing complaints at are going, what? Because they don't even know what they're supposed to be doing now. So again, all the way from the federal level down to the state level, down to your local level, we're not all coordinating our resources effectively. And I thought that was the whole idea about trying to do all this trimlining.
You would have hoped.
I hoped a lot of stuff, and so far I hadn't seen anything.
So the next thing that we have is another HEDC board meeting, but this one's a little bit odd because it's going to be held at 858 Johns Manfield Drive.
Wait a minute. And previously, where had we been having these? I mean, you're familiar with Hill County.
We had been having them at the historic City Hall on 123 East Franklin.
And there was occasionally, I think they wrote down the wrong address and still tried to be there, I think.
I can't remember which board that was.
Yeah. I do remember watching it in a video, and kudos to you, because I did watch that one, BZ.
Yeah.
You did a good job.
They bounced around a lot, and there is a BZ video of that. We'll try to put it in the links in the comments.
But I think you're correct. It was that one that BZ shut down totally because that was the EDC, it was.
Yes.
I watched it.
They were already all sitting and eating pizza.
Yeah, and he said, no. Well, right. I don't know exactly what he said,
right.
But it was great. It was. I'll give kudos to you.
So yeah, when we get to this meeting, Megan Henderson's calling it, and she says it's going to be at 858 Johns Manfield Drive.
Now let's look at that.
That's weird because that's a warehouse.
And if you know anything about warehouses, look at the way that warehouse is set up. And it's if you know what cross dock and loading is and shipping and receiving, it looks a little different than what I'm used to seeing. So it's not just to store things in it and then ship them back out somewhere else. It's like a distribution center is what I'm saying. So what is this thing?
Well, this is the home of Johns Manville, who does commercial roofing solutions for data centers.
Data centers?
Did anyone know this, that we have someone that's doing this in Hill County? I was not aware until we got this little bit of information.
Yeah, I had no idea. They do other stuff. They do installation, commercial roofing, engineered products, but it just so happens that as the HEDC was looking at developing a data center, they wanted to meet at Johns Manville. So who was there? Who was at this meeting? Well, thankfully, they actually did keep these records for us.
Thank you.
Which is good. Thank you, guys. That was the right thing. And they had Natasha Sawyer, who's normally there, Mike McDonald, Charles Eden, Mark Young, Amy Fuchs, Kenny Nolan. I don't know if y'all can hear it. We got our 15-minute warning at the studio. So we'll wrap this up. But we also had a few other people. Again, July 8th, 2025.
2025.
And we note County Judge Shane Brassell, County Attorney David Holmes, City Manager Megan Henderson, and once again, we have our encore friend Ignacio Vasquez. They had this meeting, and the most important thing on this agenda to me is Agenda Item 8, discussion regarding a petition for a municipal management district.
Wow.
Once again.
And as we come up to the Ag District, Judge, hey, you like that one? I'm sure you'll vote for ours. Thank you.
But yeah, the purpose of this again, and they brought in the attorney for ABHR. He explained it to them. It was for the municipal management district for the data center. I'm trying to decide if we should cut it here or if we could speed through the end of it. What do you think?
Well, we can overlay. You can tell them we can. Well, you have 15 minutes. I mean, we can go push it almost
We're
on.
gonna go super fast. Okay,
Yeah.
super fast.
Okay.
Megan said, "That's too much water. We don't have it." And then Zachary Sadler said, "I think we can make it work. Let's have another conversation." This was over the phone that they had their next conversation, I believe. And they said, "Well, thanks for meeting with us this week." They're telling Megan it was helpful to walk through the industrial use, potable water options, and confirm that a middle-tier data user is the best fit for Hillsboro's current supply.
What kind?
A middle-tier user.
Okay.
So they still need to know a couple of things from Hillsboro, but we're still very excited about this site and look forward to finding a solution that works for both us and the city of Hillsboro. Thanks again for your time and support. Zachary Sadler, project engineer with Sadler.
Brazos River Authority. Okay.
Megan Henderson is the one who submitted this application.
Our folks in TV land can see that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This was submitted in November of 2025. She said that they needed 5,454 acre feet, which is just about that. Only 2,000 that was for the municipal use. 3,360 acre feet was going to be for industrial purposes.
Data center.
Data center. Going fast.
Data center.
Yep. November 5th, 2025. Again, they said it's going to come from Aquila. And again, we have this number confirmed, 3,360 acre feet for a whatever industrial demand. December 4th of 2025, Tony Kane said, "Amy, thank you for assistance in this matter," which seems to confirm that the Brazos River Authority gave them these water rights. That's what we're going to assume with this, but they can deny it if they want to. Jessica Trew said, "Thank you all for a great meeting yesterday with excellent discussion. I want to share the link I found to, I believe, is the video Mark mentioned at the Abilene Data Center. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm sharing it with y'all anyway. And it was about OpenAI's Stargate Mega Factory with Sam Altman. If you guys want to watch that, it's a horrifying video. Go watch it." Public scrutiny appears, and key players begin asking how to navigate the hard conversation. They said that they're going to.
Hold on 1 second. I want to remind all of you people there in Hillsboro, how many times has your water rate gone up in just the last year? And you're all being told that it's because of those pipes that all need repairing and it keeps leaking and they've lost how many thousand gallons of water? Maybe we need to rethink this.
Maybe. And also, I do think that hike that y'all have gone through is illegal based on what I looked at the PUCT. So,
okay,
another complaint.
I will say this: when we always talk about water and pipes, it's always 50 years they needed to be maintained, and we haven't done it for the last 50 years. Well, what were you doing? I mean, I know all of you guys weren't on the boards, but I mean, what was the board doing for 50 years?
And they're telling them we have to be sure to take care of all these things. I did get the impression that Gwynn's guys are looking at less water-intensive versions, so all of a sudden Gwynn Orr isn't just a land guy. He's involved with the data center because he's looking for less water-intensive versions. Pretty interesting. That's happening January 6th, 2026.
So what is his exact role?
We don't know yet. They're going to have a Go Hillsboro Summit on data centers to try to appease people.
Appease the public.
People.
Well, they said at the same time as we're promoting the summit, there's a groundswell of discussion on data centers, including a lot of opposition to the idea of them. We at the EDC meeting tomorrow, the EDC will consider extending the contract with Provident. It's already a done deal. You can extend the contract, but the sell seems to have already happened. I could be wrong. They can, if they want to disprove this, that'd be great if they could.
I hope they do.
Any money we can increase would help us justify the project when the activists start pushing back.
I think it's funny that you said that they could disprove that. I heard from a city councilman the other day in a video at the end of it. Well, this may or may not happen. Still, it still may not. But at the same token, it may or may not happen. You sure have taken a lot of steps to make the cake.
So In February 2026, Natasha Sawyer said, "Is there a way that in the agreement we can include a step up in the extension payment amount? Any money we can increase would help us justify the project when the activists start to push back." I think that's you, Linda. Can we take a director notion towards a city streets project or a sewer project, something that would help the city center rather than the industrial park? Just trying to leverage the fact that they have made significant investment, but we still own the property. It will be in their best interest to get the citizenry on their side. Yeah.
Yeah. So where's that reply at? That's what I want to say.
But I'd say that term that they used on there, you're in good company, because I was told I was the same thing, and we also pointed out the first time we were on location, there's a redheaded stranger that has that at the bottom of his picture, right there in Hillsboro, Texas, at the courthouse. What's the word? That's right. So I don't mind being in the company of Willie Nelson and all the rest of the folks. That's awesome.
Well, you know who else wanted to be an activist? The county. So they passed a moratorium. It was a 3-2 vote. And it was the first in Texas, is what they claimed. It wasn't the first in Texas. There was actually one further south. But and then they got a $100 million federal lawsuit over that moratorium. Linda's got a good. We'll do another video with Linda about the mess that was. And so they decided to rescind it. This complaint was based on the actions specifically of a few people, namely Shane Brassell, Jim Holcomb, and Larry Crumpton. They were the defendants, not Hillsboro. These people. They sued Hill County. And they sued these 3 people because before he passed the moratorium, Judge Brassell said on camera, "It's illegal," which isn't the best thing to do as a judge. And then Jim Holcomb said,
we have to note that when we use this term judge for all these counties in the state of Texas, they're not technically lawyers. They're elected.
No, I believe that Brassell was in another background. And
he was a JP.
And he has a business degree, I believe, like an MBA, and no legal background. But he was pretty confident that it was illegal, and he still did it.
I'm just saying, a lot of people think when you say the word judge, they automatically think these people are a lawyer or something, right. or have a lawyer background.
Well, that would have been good if someone did have a lawyer background that looked at this, because they sued because they said that they put in $1 million and that they wanted to be eligible for batch 0. And they submitted this. And they said that they were approved by ERCOT and all this stuff, but ERCOT didn't approve the batch process until June 18th, 2026. I'm going to go backwards real quick. The whole thing was rescinded on June 4th. So before anything had happened to approve the process, Hill County had already rescinded their moratorium. But this is all finalized. It's done. They gave them $100,000 to go away. This is a video that we don't have time to play, but if you want to go back to the February 10th Commissioners Court meeting, Shane Brassell claims that he doesn't know of any data centers going into Hillsboro. I wonder if I can fast forward it. I can. Okay. This man was very concerned, and he gave a really great speech, and he wanted to know if they could address if there were more coming into the county. And of course the audio is not working. I've been approached, and I've learned a lot in the last since April. So since April, when I actually first met this gentleman, he's talking about the data center developer. He came in and they said they're going to build a data center, and I said, well, he said that's what's going to happen, and I said, well, good luck, because we have a lot of people come by the courthouse and say they're going to build something. And I told them we don't have the water, we don't have, but, if the state says you can do it, I can't stop you. You bought the land. Turns out they were serious. Now it turns out they were serious. Okay, yeah. Now, Shane repeats himself a lot. Sorry, guys. People come to my office and propose buildings, some of which were less than honest. I don't think I don't know. I think they were maybe not being completely honest with the land there. We've not seen them bad. It's a up and coming, very competitive, and it's such a new market. It also makes it something for fraud. And I've seen where, I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know where he says it. We're just have to wait till the end. He's going to say there rumors have come out of it, but we have not been told about any data centers in Covington. We haven't been told about, but there's a mention of one towards Abbott. I've not heard a word of it after that, which I think we'll have to pull up some other documents on that. And this is the only project that I know of in Hill County at this moment, even though this man was at the Provident Data Center meeting in July of the year before. So,
There we go.
they also want to dismiss dissenting opinions in this meeting. They were saying BZ Watchdog doesn't know what he's talking about, but so far he's been pretty on point with some of these things. And Megan said she doesn't have time to monitor his contact because it's getting bad for her mental health. Sorry, Megan, stop doing stuff that people don't like. There were more accusations against Linda Polley, who's also Linda.
It's me.
It's her.
A real person.
She's a real
Again.
person. She's been doing a lot of hard work, and people have asked for her help. And as they've asked for her help, people from Hillsboro have been trying to basically ruin her reputation, and it's completely unfounded.
That's
so,
the one I got invited to.
Yeah. So
Thanks to you.
yeah.
You, right here.
That's right.
And
It was
now
a great group.
It was a wonderful time.
was a great
I had a really good time at that one.
And now y'all are kind of
Met some really nice folks.
and we're reminding them, go back to the planning and zoning meeting that's happening, because we're back to the beginning. We're back to them trying to just push things that nobody wants, and there's some people left who will actually do hopefully the right thing.
Exactly. Be there on August 24th at 6 o'clock at the Historical City Hall, 123 East Franklin. And give them your views. Let them know your concern. Don't let them use the excuse that nobody shows up.
Yep.
And while we're talking about places to be, hint. Can you see that? Can y'all see that? Where's
Central
that at?
Texas.
Central
that
Texas.
looks like the capital.
No.
It's the
Austin,
capital.
Texas.
Oh, it's Austin.
It's Austin. So guess where we're going to be at again? Yes. TA, Chat with TA. We'll be in Austin. What day?
The 19th, next Wednesday.
Next
Come
week.
on down. I heard even some of Willie Nelson's relatives are going to be there too.
Amy Nelson is going to be there.
Yep.
We've got people coming from across the state, specifically for 765 kV lines and data centers. The State Affairs Committee is going to be hearing it, and there's a very good chance that your state rep will be there. There's several meetings happening in Austin, so this is the time. If you haven't made it to Austin, if you haven't been able to testify, this is a good time. This is your shot.
I would say everybody that can hear my voice right now, come on down.
There's a rally beforehand. You can find the information on that on Don't Drain Texas. And then instead of having the hearing in the Capitol building, they're having it in the Reagan building. So just be prepared. We're going to go from the Capitol building to the Reagan building. It'll be a day.
Yep. It'll be exciting.
All right.
So, anything else y'all want to mention? All right, we'll see you the next time, or we'll see you on location.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.